Hi everyone. Today we're going to talk about one of the biggest misconceptions guys have during a breakup. Be sure to stay to the end of the video because I'm going to express in the end of the video what exactly girls are looking for. So be sure to stay tuned for that. Welcome everybody. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Mindy. I work with guys to help them save their relationships by helping them understand their love communication style and transforming it to fix their relationships. So the biggest misconception that guys are having during a breakup is, she's looking for the perfect guy and that's just not me. And I have to say that you guys have to change that mindset because women are not looking for the perfect guy. We understand that the perfect guy doesn't exist, and that is not at all what we are looking for. I can't tell you how many times my clients have come to me and said, I just can't be perfect. She's looking for perfection. It's not me. Because that's not what we're looking for. You have to remember back in the beginning of the relationship, what made us fall in love with you? Because we fell in love with you for one specific reason. It wasn't because you were perfect. It was because you were perfect for us. And that's what you have to remember, and that's what you have to really change your mindset to understand is we're not looking for perfection. We are looking for the imperfect person to love us perfectly. I'll say that again. We are looking for the imperfect person to love us perfectly, because when you can love us perfectly, that's what makes us believe that you are perfect for us. What's happening is you cease to be perfect for us, not perfect in general, because perfection doesn't exist. So I want to talk about this in more detail. I really want to dig deep into this video and really help you guys understand what it is that we are looking for. And that looks different for every single person. That's why I tell everybody, you have to understand how you show love, how they receive love. You need to really understand what your love lingo is, what your love jargon is, and what that person's love lingo and love jargon are as well. Because in so many cases, we are naturally showing love to the person that we love in a manner that they don't naturally accept it. For an example, have you ever been in a situation where you go to give your partner a hug and they're just not in the mood for a hug and they're brushing you away? When they brush you away, you can't help but feel hurt for a moment that they didn't want to hug you. And you have to remember that you were offering love, but they just weren't able to accept it in that moment in that way. So I'm using that as an example because this is happening in so many ways, so many scenarios. People are getting hurt because they're offering love and their partner is stonewalling them on it. Now, how do you accomplish this? How do you become the perfect person for us? You have to ask yourself, why did she fall in love with me to begin with? What was I offering that I'm no longer offering? I'll give you an example because I hear this a lot. A lot of times, women fall in love with men because you guys make us feel really emotionally safe. You have us really believe that we can be our unique selves, we can be emotional, and you're going to be open to it, and you're going to fulfill us emotionally. I'll give the most ridiculous example. In the beginning of the relationship, let's say you guys are going for a walk, and she's just so full of emotion for you, she's falling in love with you, that she looks up to the sky, and she's like, oh my God, I'm just so happy. The sky feels purple to me. And in the beginning of the relationship, that logical brain of yours that might want to say, the sky is blue, you don't do that in the beginning of the relationship. Instead, you look at her and you say, yeah, it is a beautiful sky, isn't it? And you are overcome and you're so happy that her emotional state, she's telling you is purple because you know that's a good thing, that you're making her so happy. So let's fast forward into the relationship. Let's say you're going for that same walk and she looks up at the sky and she's like, wow, it just feels really purple today. Now that some time has went on and the honeymoon phase has fizzled out, instead of looking up at the sky and saying, yeah, the sky is so beautiful, you then instead criticize her and you say, oh, come on, you know the sky is not purple, it's blue. This is a perfect example, and I know it's a ridiculous example, but it's a perfect example of what starts to happen in relationships. And this happens in regards to all of the forms of the love communication style. I am just using this as an example because girls feel emotionally certain ways and we express our emotions. And you guys are so logical that in the beginning of the relationship, you find that endearing about us. But as time goes on, you might feel a little annoyed, or you might feel, hey, I'm going to check her because she's got to realize the sky is blue. I mean, whatever it is that's going on, maybe you're not being fulfilled, whatever it is, instead of validating her emotional state of feeling that the sky is purple, turn to her and you say that's not the case, or maybe you criticize her, or you're not as open to accepting her emotionally as you had been at one point. And so when this starts to happen on a day-to-day basis, what happens is women start to shut down. For an example, let's say in the beginning of the relationship, if she made you dinner, you came home and you were like, oh my God, that's so amazing. Thank you so much. This is so wonderful. And you give her a hug and you say, I really wasn't expecting this. This is fantastic. Thank you. Okay? But let's say as the relationship progresses, she makes dinner and you come home and you're like, oh, not burgers again. I really didn't want burgers. We had burgers last week. We've been having burgers every single week. I'm just really over burgers. Why do you always bring home burgers? Do you notice the difference? Do you notice that in the beginning of the relationship, you might have been appreciative, and as time goes on, you might still be appreciative, but now you're frustrated that you're having burgers because you always have burgers. So instead of being kind in whatever it is that she's offered you when she's offering you some type of love, instead you're kind of shaming the love. So when you shame it, what happens is she starts to close up. It can be if she goes and buys you something, she buys you a shirt and she brings it home and you say, oh man, I don't like light blue. Why did you bring me light blue? Well, that's all they had, and you said you really needed a new work shirt, and that's all they had in your size. So in every single aspect of how she's showing you love, if she's doing this for you and you start critiquing her and criticizing her for every little thing she's doing, and in your mind, you might not even be doing it. You just might be thinking, well, I'd rather not have a shirt than have a light blue shirt. What the heck? Why did she do that? She knows I hate blue. It doesn't matter. Because in the beginning of the relationship, you more than likely wouldn't have acted like that. When she was offering love to you in whichever way, and when she was being emotionally vulnerable by being herself and letting her crazy little emotions come out of her mouth, you were accepting. And because you were accepting, she felt that she could allow herself to fall. And so she falls in love with you, and she's on this beautiful pedestal of, I've got this amazing guy who's perfect for me. And he accepts me, he allows me to be emotionally vulnerable, he's so thankful when I do little things for him. She's feeling this way. And then as time goes by, maybe you've had a bad day, or maybe, she didn't give you your love lingo that you needed. As time goes by, we start verbally not being as kind to one another as we had once been. Or the guy starts to use logic on us when we're having an emotional experience that we're sharing. So that's why it's really important to be able to understand what you were doing in the beginning of the relationship so you can ensure that you keep doing this. So that's why I say we're not looking for the perfect person. We're looking for the perfect person for us. And at one point, that was you. At one point, we fell so hard for you that we believed you were our forever person. And when we break up with you, it's because we can't see that anymore. Because we are so unfulfilled and we feel that we're criticized or we're put down for the little things, and we feel rejected when we are showing love, that we cannot picture life doing it this way anymore. And on your side of things, I'm sure that you don't even realize you're doing this. You might even be the kind of person who thinks you're making jokes. You're just teasing her. Hey, blue, why are you giving me blue? And she's taking it wrong, maybe because she's a words of encouragement and praise person. Or for the hamburger example, you might be really over hamburgers. and you don't want to eat hamburgers anymore. So you want to tell her that you don't want to have them anymore. And when's the better time? When she's just cooked you hamburgers, right? That's when you express that you're unhappy having hamburgers again. But what you have to remember is that when she's done something kind for you, or she said something kind to you, or she's saying something kind, or she's bringing you a present, or doing an act of kindness for you, or any type of thing, and when you show any type of negativity towards that, you have just made her feel that she is depleted in her love lingo tank, because we also receive love by showing love. So when we're offering love to somebody and they're not accepting it, we don't really understand what's going on, and we start to deplete. So now this person has to actually work harder to refill that tank. So that's something that not everybody is really understanding that's happening. And let me give a perfect example. After you eat the meal, you say, oh wow, that was a great hamburger, thank you so much. Hey, I kind of noticed that I'm kind of getting over hamburgers. Do you think next week maybe we can't have them? I mean, this one was delicious and I really appreciate you cooking it for me, but I'm kind of getting over them. That's the way to handle the situation. So there's always a way to handle the situation that's in a more positive light, that really keeps your partner from depleting in their love lingo tank. And that's why, understanding how someone's showing love is just as important as understanding how they receive love. Try to look at it this way. How would you feel if you went to give her a hug and she immediately backed away from you? It's the same concept as what I brought up in the beginning of the video, is that we all show love in total different ways. And if you're continuously not being accepted in the way that you're showing love to somebody, you start to shut down. I mean, think about why people stonewall. Why do people stonewall? Why is it that people get to a point where they shut down and they can't communicate with their partners anymore? The reason is because in either the way that they have showed love or received love, they have felt rejected to the point where they now have to put a wall around their heart because they can't be hurt anymore. That's why people stonewall. So if you go back to the beginning of the relationship and you remember why she was falling in love with you and the key things that you were doing, when she said something ridiculous, were you putting her down about it? Or were you teasing her with a smile, letting her know how fantastic you thought she was and that you adore her? She allowed herself to fall. She dropped whatever wall she had in the beginning of the relationship, because most of us, we go into a relationship, you as well, you have a little bit of a wall up because you don't want to get hurt and you don't know if this person is safe yet. So, we each have these little walls up when we start a relationship, and they come down when the other person has started filling our tank. And when the other person has accepted the love that we offer, the walls come down. And then we fall in love, and we want to live happily ever after with one another, walking into the sunset. But what happens is somewhere in the routine and the busy, stressful day of life, start not appreciating our partner when they're offering love to us. Because sometimes we're offered love in ways that we really don't accept it. This is things that we do all the time in many different ways. I gave the shirt as an example, I gave the dinner as an example, and I gave the purple sky as the example. So these are just 3 silly examples of ways that you might have been rejecting the way that she's offering you love. So if you can really look back and ask yourself, have I been doing that? Have I been appreciating her emotional state and allowing her to feel safe when she's being emotional? Have I accepted the offering of love she's giving me, even if it's not what naturally fills my love lingo tank? Have I allowed myself to accept the love that is being offered to me? And am I being kind in those ways that she's offering me love, or am I criticizing? Criticizing people is the number one reason we start to put walls up. If you do this enough in any of those situations, you are causing your partner to emotionally now shut down. Because remember, we are not logical beings. We are not like you guys. You can't tell us, oh, I don't want burgers, and have it just be you don't want burgers. We now feel hurt because we've done something kind for you and it's not appreciated. We feel that we're offering you love by saying, oh, I'm so happy because the sky is feeling purple because I'm with you. And you're putting us down by telling us it's blue. Or you're putting us down because you don't like the color of the shirt that's blue. Or you're putting us down because you don't want hamburgers. You have to understand, you can't consistently put your partner down for things that in your head you're just being logical and you're just saying it, because women don't take it that way. We are emotional and we don't just see it as black and white. We see it as the time we went to go pick out the shirt you didn't appreciate. We see it as the time we spent making the dinner, going to the store, picking up the meat, picking up the buns, putting it together, you didn't appreciate. We see it as trying to tell you how happy we are being on this walk with you, and you didn't appreciate that. So when that happens enough, this woman starts to put a wall up and she starts to separate herself from you emotionally because you're no longer safe. And if that happens long enough, that's why breakups happen. So if you are going through a breakup or you're going through a situation where you might be headed to a breakup, ask yourself, are you doing these things? This is just one little tweak that you can do to ensure that you keep her from putting a wall up. Nobody wants to be stonewalled. Don't allow it to happen. Stop it in its tracks. So I did promise that at the end of the video, I would say what we do want. Since we don't want perfection, what is it that we want? We want effort. Effort. That is what we're looking for. We are looking for a man who puts effort in every single day. And the effort is just saying, wow, honey, you made burgers again. Thank you so much. I know you've got a lot going on in a day, and I bet you this was hard to put together, and I really appreciate it. I'm really hungry. Thank you so much. Oh, honey, thank you so much for going and getting me that shirt. I really appreciate it. Oh, wow, you think the sky is purple. Aw, you're so adorable. You see? That's effort. That's just showing us that you appreciate. That's putting the effort in. That's not criticizing us. It's effort. So you put in the effort to accepting the way we are showing love and to accepting our emotional state. You put in the effort on that, and we are going to start to feel secure that we can drop those walls again. And then on top of it, you also discover her love lingo so you can ensure that you're filling her love lingo tank, not just in accepting her love from you, but also in how she needs to receive love. And if you can start doing that, you will start thriving again in your relationship, because it's really the effort. You put in the effort, it goes a long way for us. And that's why I've linked in this other video why you should fight for us if you have broken up. I know some people think you shouldn't fight, but there are certain situations where I do think fighting for the relationship matters, and I have linked that video to this one so you can watch that one next. So that's why it's really important to ask yourself, are you accepting the love? Did you accept it when she was offering it? Or did you push away? Did you pull away? And did you not even realize you were doing it? Leave me a comment below. Let me know. Let me know if this sounds familiar. And as always, everybody, thank you so much for watching the video. If you do like it, please definitely click the like button, hit the subscribe button, and also hit the little bell notification button. This way you can be notified every time that I release a new video. I hope this video was helpful. And as always, everybody, stay happy, stay healthy, and most importantly, stay in love.